In the sun-baked hills overlooking the Mediterranean, where the ruins of ancient Carthage still whisper of glory and ruin, a story unfolds of one of history's greatest powers, a Phoenician jewel that rose to challenge Rome itself. Imagine a fleet of sleek Phoenician ships slicing through the waves around 814 BC. Merchants from the distant city of Tyre in modern-day Lebanon, fleeing political turmoil and seeking new trade routes, founded a settlement on a strategic promontory in what is now Tunisia. They called it Carthage, New City. Legend tells of Princess Elissa or Dido, who cleverly negotiated land from local Berber rulers by cutting an ox hide into thin strips to encircle a hill. From this humble beginning, Carthage would grow into a maritime empire that dominated the western Mediterranean. The city's location was perfect, natural harbors protected by the Gulf of Tunis, fertile hinterlands for agriculture, and control over key sea lanes between Sicily and North Africa. Carthaginian traders sailed far and wide, to Britain for tin, down the African coast, and across the Pillars of Hercules. They built a vast network of colonies and vassal states, amassing wealth through commerce in purple dyes, metals, ivory, and slaves. Unlike many rivals focused on conquest alone, Carthage thrived on trade, innovation, and pragmatic alliances. Its double harbor, one for military ships, one for merchants, could shelter hundreds of vessels, a symbol of its naval supremacy. By the 6th century BC, Carthage had gained independence from Tyre and emerged as the leading power in the West. It clashed with Greek colonies in Sicily and southern Italy, fighting for control of trade routes in a series of brutal wars. Carthaginian generals, often from elite families, commanded multi-ethnic armies, Libyan infantry, Numidian cavalry, Iberian mercenaries, and those legendary war elephants. Their navy, with advanced quinquiremes, ruled the seas, yet it was the rising power of Rome, expanding across the Italian peninsula, that would define Carthage's fate. Initially allies against common threats, the two republics soon became bitter rivals in what historians call the Punic Wars. Punic from the Roman word for Phoenician. The First Punic War erupted in 264 BC over control of Sicily. It was a grueling 23-year struggle, mostly naval. Rome, a land power with little seafaring experience, built a massive fleet almost from scratch, copying Carthaginian designs and adding boarding bridges called corvi. After devastating losses on both sides, Rome won Sicily, forcing Carthage to pay huge indemnities and withdraw. Humiliated but resilient, Carthage turned to Spain, expanding its influence under the Barcid family. In 219 BC, the brilliant general Hannibal Barca seized the Roman-allied city of Saguntum, igniting the Second Punic War. Hannibal's daring campaign is the stuff of legend, leading 50,000 troops, 9,000 cavalry, and dozens of war elephants across the Alps in 218 BC. Harsh terrain, snow, and ambushes decimated his forces, but he arrived in Italy ready to strike. For 15 years, Hannibal ravaged the Italian countryside. He crushed Roman armies at Trebia, Lake Trasimene, and the catastrophic Battle of Cannae in 216 BC, where up to 70,000 Romans perished in one of antiquity's bloodiest defeats. Rome faced annihilation, yet it refused to surrender. Hannibal's genius on the battlefield was unmatched, but he lacked the siege equipment and reinforcements to take Rome itself. Meanwhile, Roman general Scipio Africanus took the fight to Spain and then Africa. In 202 BC, at the Battle of Zama, Scipio defeated Hannibal on his home soil. Carthage sued for peace, losing its navy, overseas territories, and much of its independence. It paid massive reparations and was forbidden from waging war without Roman permission. For decades, Carthage recovered economically, rebuilding its farms and trade. But Roman hardliners, led by Cato the Elder, who famously ended every speech with Carthago delinda est, Carthage must be destroyed, feared its resurgence. In 149 BC, Rome provoked the Third Punic War. A massive Roman force besieged the city for 3 years. Carthaginians fought desperately, even melting down statues for weapons and building a new fleet in secret. In 146 BC, under Scipio Aemilianus, Roman troops breached the walls. Street-by-street fighting ensued for 6 days. The final holdouts on Bursa Hill surrendered after horrific bloodshed. The Romans razed Carthage, sold survivors into slavery, and reportedly sowed the fields with salt to curse the land forever. A civilization that had endured nearly 700 years was obliterated. Yet Carthage's story did not end in ashes. Rome later founded a new city on the site, Colonia Julia Carthago, which became a prosperous Roman province and one of the empire's wealthiest cities in Africa. Its grand baths, amphitheater, theater, and villas rose atop Punic ruins. By the time of the emperors, it was a center of Roman culture, Christianity, and trade. Today, the archaeological site near Tunis, a UNESCO World Heritage Treasure, reveals layers of history. Punic harbors, the Tophet sanctuary with its haunting child burial urns, evidence of ancient religious practices, Roman villas with exquisite mosaics, the massive Antonine baths, and the hill of Bursa overlooking the sea. Carthage's legacy endures in its innovations in shipbuilding, agriculture, and governance, in the tales of Dido and Aeneas immortalized by Virgil, and in Hannibal's tactical brilliance, studied by military leaders for centuries. It was a Phoenician success story, a multicultural hub where diverse peoples mixed ideas, goods, and blood that nearly reshaped the ancient world. Standing among the silent stones, one can almost hear the crash of oars, the trumpeting of elephants, and the roar of crowds in the harbors. Carthage reminds us of the fleeting nature of power, the cost of rivalry, and the enduring spirit of a people who built an empire on the waves. Its fall paved Rome's path to dominance, but its memory challenges us to reflect on what might have been had the scales of history tipped differently.